Hey, what's going on, everyone? Before we get into the podcast with AO, I want to let you know that this podcast is powered by Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers, the best place to get your sports gambling picks. Now let's get into the podcast with AO. What's going on, everyone? This is Eric Devendorf, your host of the Scorers Table podcast. Today we have another SU legend, but it's a special guest because this is my man, this is my main man, this is my brother, this is my roommate, and this is the closest guy I was with on the team my 4 years. Born in Lanham, Maryland, played from 2005 to 2010 with his redshirt year. Leads Cuse history, the leading field goal percentage shooter at 65%, 11th in block shots. Definitely one of the best big men in Cuse history. My former roommate, my guy, Ayo. What's good, bro? Nobody knows about the voice, but we ain't even gotta tell them about that. It's between us, man. What's good, man? How's everything going?
Everything's all right, man. Just maintaining, just trying to, you know how it is, man. This whole pandemic is crazy, but other than that, doing all right.
I already know. So let's start in Maryland, man. Just tell me about growing up in Maryland. I know you got a younger brother who plays ball as well, so tell me about some of those backyard battles, and tell me who was the first guy to put the ball in your hand.
Actually, it was my teacher in fifth grade. I started playing organized basketball in fifth grade, but when I really got into it was sixth grade. When I moved and I started going to public school. And my teacher of the class, I was always the tallest in the class, but she was the basketball coach at the Boys and Girls Club. So she said, Arinze, do you want to play basketball? I said, I experimented with it, but, I'll come, cool. And, ever since that day, man, she picked me up after school every day, either her or her husband, take me to practice. And then I just slowly started getting better at the game, started falling in love with it. And, since that day, what we looking at 20-some years later, still doing the same thing. So shout out to her. She really, put the basketball in my hand and told me, this is a way to get out this, this community, do better things in your life. And she just was like a role model to me.
So tell me about some of those battles between you and your younger brother. Did you grow up having that competition already? Was he following your footsteps, so to speak, or was he kind of, already doing it on his own?
What's so crazy is I've been gone since I was in 11th grade. Gone from home, because I was at the boarding school the last 2 years in Syracuse after that. So me and him didn't grow up having backyard battles usually, because I was gone, at an early age, and he's about 10 years younger than me. So he just watched, he was a student of the game, watched how I did things, saw what basketball did for me, and he fell in love with it too. And the craziest part about it is he's the tallest in the family. He's about an inch taller than me. So he grew into it, and before I knew it, I was getting calls from everybody, because in the area everybody knows me, and they calling me like, man, your little brother is looking great, your little brother is really balling. So I got to see him, obviously through film and video, but I wasn't really around to see him progress as much as I should have been, because I was gone, straight from, like I said, away in high school for the last 2 years, Syracuse, and being a pro, I'm always gone, so I wasn't there to be hands-on as much, but I put him around the good people, had him in good hands, and he was able to develop to be a pro.
So you went to Duval High School for 1 year, and then you transferred to Episcopal, right?
Yeah, I went to Episcopal. I was at Duval for 2 years. My first 2 years, that's the public school by my house, and then my mother sent me to the Episcopal for my last 2 years.
So talk about being away from home early on, because I experienced that too, going to Oak Hill, but I only did it 1 year. How did that help you, or do you think it hurts you, preparing you for college?
It was totally different. I mean, the school that I went to, the Episcopal High School, is a school for very smart kids. It's the kids leave there and go to Yale, Harvard, that type of smart type of thing, small classrooms of maybe 12, 13 students. At Duval, it's 30, 35 people in the class. So academically, it helped me a lot. Basketball also helped me, but the biggest thing that helped me high school basketball-wise was the AAU circuit, obviously. Playing with DC Assault, the best team in the area, obviously one of the best teams in the country, to get college coaches to see me and things like that. So we're just having that balance. But as far as structure and things like that, it definitely helped me going to that school. You know, public school is not as structured as a private school. The demand is a lot higher at the private school, and you got to be accountable just about for everything you do. So it definitely prepared me for college for sure.
So none of those teachers there were like, man, we need you to get on this defensive end real quick, put on them pads and go ahead and get your Javon Curse on real quick.
So, so my first year there, I played football.
Okay.
My junior year of high school, I played football. I played tight end and DN. I was actually pretty good. I actually started getting like a bunch of letters from big schools. Tim Hightower, he was my running back. He played for the Redskins and played for the Arizona Cardinals. Yep. So he was my running back. So like that was one of my best friends. And it's funny, when he's in high school, I went to visit with him at Maryland, and all they were doing was talking about me. And he was the guy they were recruiting. They tried to figure out like, who is he? Who is he? And then, yeah. and then football season came and they found out who I was. So I definitely could have went the football route. So I played my 11th grade year. Then 12th grade year, my basketball coach, he called me in the office. He's like, man, you can't do it. I'm like, what you mean? He was like, I can't risk you getting hurt, you know, because football is before basketball season. So he's like, are you going to play basketball at the next level? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm about to commit. He's like, okay, well, I can't have you do both. Like, just come on and just focus on basketball. So I was like, all right.
But you never thought about like doing the Tone Gates or the Julius Peppers? Like, cause bro, like you look at these guys now, like it's Travis Kelce and, you know, Rob Gronkowski, like you bigger than those dudes, man. And like how you play ball, like you're agile, like you can move, like, so I could see you out there doing it. You didn't ever think about getting your two-sport on in college?
You know, what's crazy is when I was up there, the football coach used to say something to me all the time. He's like, I got a jersey with your name on it. I got a jersey with your name on it. But I don't know, you know, first of all, you know, Boeheim wasn't going to have it. Like, you know, like, come on, AL, come on, you know, he wasn't going for it. So I never really fully thought about it. But I mean, now if I knew what I knew back then, because, you know, the transformation of the tight ends just started within the last 5, 6, 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All the basketball players going to play, you know, football. So I might have dibbled and dabbled with it, but I mean, with the concussions and all that thing, it might have slowed me down. But I mean, I don't know if it all happened again, maybe I might go out there, but it just ain't happened like that.
So what year do you think it really was like, all right, like this is like basketball, this is really what I want to do? And what schools were recruiting you besides the Cuse? And then what was like that you know, final decision that really sealed the deal for you to come to Cuse?
So I don't know if you saw the documentary, PG County documentary that like Kevin Durant and Quinn Cook and all them just did, Victor Oladipo. They just did a special just talking about like how special it is to be from PG County. I mean, like, we breed basketball players. That's what we got here. Like, we got so many pros, overseas guys. Like, that's what it is out here. So like me, I was a late bloomer. Like when I was coming up, DC Assault was the #1 team in the area, you know.
We played against each other.
Right.
Yeah. Right. I gave y'all work.
I don't remember that. But right. So they came and picked me up I think it was my 10th grade year. I started with them. But so I was a late bloomer. So all those guys, Jeff Greens and Dante Cunninghams and those type of guys, they were already on the radar. Everybody, Mike Beasley, Nolan Smith, everybody knew who they were. So I was the late bloomer. I was a guy that was on the team, but didn't have the name at first, you know. And as I started playing more and more games, obviously scouts started to see me and my name started to get bigger and bigger. So when it came down to it, I had a lot of schools. I narrowed my schools down to Georgia because I had like the coach back then.
Who was the coach?
Mike Brown is his name.
Mike Brown.
It was a black coach at Georgia.
Okay.
Who else? I narrowed down to Georgetown, Boston College, and Pittsburgh and Syracuse. I think that was my top 5 going in. But I think Pittsburgh had just signed Terrell. You remember Terrell Biggs?
I do. Yeah, right from the city. Yep.
So he was the same position as me. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Then when I was messing with Georgetown, I was like, I kind of want to get away to see something different because I've been here all my life. So then I didn't go there. And then I think what kind of sealed the deal for Syracuse. So originally Troy Weaver was recruiting me, and he actually helped start the DC Assault program.
Yeah.
So he was leaving to go to the NBA at the time, and that's when Rob Murphy took over. And I talked to him. I was like, "Oh, Troy, you leaving? I might have to go somewhere else." He's like, "No, just go. Make sure they take care of you." And he did that. Like, he'll come back. He'll call me on a consistent basis. He'd come up to the Cuse every summer and check on me and make sure everything was all right. So that's what kind of like made me go up there. So I mean, it was really through him for the most part.
And we were kind of like in the same situation because Troy recruited me too. Like that was because I was committed to Michigan State, and then I decommitted, and then I remember Coach and Troy Weaver coming down to Detroit Denby in Washington practice. They offered me right there, so I didn't know Weave was leaving. You know what I'm saying? But then it just so happened like Murph was taking the job. I already knew Murph, so. But yeah, I remember coming in at the same time, and then so you come in, we come in 05, 06. I remember coming in that summer, bro. Like it was just me and you, for real. Remember we came in, we ain't had no air conditioning in the apartments. We in there on South Hot. We going to Manly. It's just us shooting in there. What do you remember about that first year coming in, bro? And what do you think, were some of the like adversities that you went through as far as the transitioning from high school to college, and who was somebody that really kind of helped you out and you maybe learned from them, going forward that first year?
You know what I was thinking about before we even got on this? I was thinking about, I don't know if you remember, we had the recruiting visit up there. Remember,
bro.
It was me and you, right?
Yeah.
And remember, you played with the team and I didn't play. Remember, y'all scrimmaged.
Yes.
And I didn't play. And when I saw you play and you was like holding your own, I ain't never tell you this, but I'm like, wow, I got a lot of work to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, we both the same class, but you was already ready. You know what I'm saying? You was ready to step in and play right away. I wasn't ready yet to step in and get right to it. And from watching you play that scrimmage, I went home and I just started working harder and harder and harder because I'm like, wow, like, I mean, you was Mickey D's already. So like you was already, supposed to walk in and play. But from watching you play with the team, those guys, most of them juniors, seniors, I'm like, wow, all right, I got a lot of work to do. So that was, I never told you that, but when I was getting on this, I'm like, I was thinking about it, like, wow, that was one of the days I went home, was like, okay, you got some work to put in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
go ahead.
What I was saying, what did you ask me?
Like during that first year, like what helped you kind of transition, from high school to college? And then who was somebody you think maybe an older guy, and you kind of just spoke about it a little bit, but who somebody really helped you through that year and somebody maybe taught you something going forward?
Well, when we got there, so it was Mookie and Terrence were the two big men starting at the 4 and the 5.
Yep.
Like we was a family. Like we did pretty much everything together. So I think being around them mostly, studying them, watching them, like, Terrence Roberts was an animal. You know what I'm saying? Like he reminded me of like a Kenyon Martin in college. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like could shoot the ball left-handed, springy, dunking everything. Then you had Mookie, who was blocking every shot, soft jumper, soft fadeaway jumpers. You know what I'm saying? Like them was two different games, but the way they dominated, you had to watch it. Like they know what they got going on. You know what I'm saying? So like practicing against those guys every day, being around them, listening to what they telling me, those type of things really like helped me a lot. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate the guys so much because I feel like if they wasn't there when I first got there, I probably wouldn't have had the career I had.
Hey guys, before we get back to AO, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers yet, now's the time. Bet Rivers Sportsbook is offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one play through to turn your bonus into cash money. When you win at Bet Rivers Sportsbook, they pay fast. And now it's even faster with Rush Pay instant approval for withdrawals. It's safe, it's secure, it's reliable. With March Madness right around the corner, there's never been a better time to give Bet Rivers Sportsbook a try. Go to betrivers.com today or download the Bet Rivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call telephone number 1-800-GAMBLER. You know what is crazy, because even though like that first year, because you got hurt that second year. It was 06, 07 when you got hurt. But that first year, like you probably didn't play as much as you wanted to play, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that was like impressed me about you was like you never could tell, bro. Like you never could tell like when something was bothering you. And that was something like how you carried yourself. Like, because you were like all academic every single year, like all Big East, all that, and I'll talk about that later in the podcast. But you were every single year, bro, regardless of like if you weren't playing, coach was getting on you, like you never, like that's something like I always looked at you and looked up to you about, like you never changed. You know what I'm saying? Like what was your mindset? You know what I'm saying? Like when you weren't playing and coach was on you, like, you know, just coach gonna say, hey, well, Ayo, what are you doing? Like what was your mindset to where you was like still handling your business like off the court and on the court, regardless of what was going on?
I knew my moment was coming. Like I knew it was on the way. You know, I walked in there knowing that, you know, like, you know, when you're looking at schools, you gotta, you know, most people do about, okay, am I gonna walk in the door and play right away? Like I knew we had two studs at the 4 and the 5, and they were juniors. I knew I had to wait my turn. So I mean, freshman year I didn't expect to play much, but what I did, I was a sponge. You know, I see how coach was, how he reacted to certain things. I see what they did to stay on the floor. I see what got them pulled from the game. I was just watching all the little things and the nuances of the games, because I knew, like, when my number is called, when it's my time, I know how I'm going to do this. So that was the whole thing. It kept me level-headed. I wasn't even surprised that I wasn't playing that much, you know, because I knew how good those guys were and the work they already put in. So it wasn't even that. It was just the fact that I was going, all right, I knew I was going to use this year to be a sponge, and just learn the game. You know, I know I was a little bit behind, especially a guy like you that was McDonald's and didn't see everything. Oak Hill, y'all didn't see, y'all played against everybody, the top tier of everybody. So everybody you already know. I didn't have that type of competition. So I'm still, you know, a few steps behind. So I just used that first year to kind of just gauge where I was at, get better, and know that, like, my time is on the way.
So, okay, you use that year 05, 06. You know your time is coming, like you're saying. But then 06, 07, you get hurt. You hurt your knee, you have to have surgery, you have to redshirt, you out for the season. Now you got to sit out knowing that, man, I just, you know, I worked my way up the first year to kind of, you know, get more playing time and gain more trust from coach and things like that. Now you get hurt, you got to sit out. What, you know, now what's your mindset? You going through again, you all academic again, so you handle your business. And I remember, bro, I remember all the time, because it's crazy. We was both hurt and we both had to help each other. Like I remember you just had surgery and you be having all them ice pads in the fridge. I mean, yo, E, you grab me the ice. I'm gonna grab you the ice pad. Hey, you know, I'm gonna make sure you good. And so I just remember you going through all that, but you still handling your business. Like, but I know it killed you, bro. Like you having to watch us and you just sitting there having to rehab. Really, you can't control it. So, you know, how'd you deal with that?
Man, surgery, I wouldn't wish surgery on my worst enemy. Like, surgery is something totally different. Every day you wake up is a battle. You know what I'm saying? All the things you so used to doing, running and jumping and even walking, it's taken away from you. So, I mean, it's a humbling experience. It's very, very mental. You know what I'm saying? Because every day you're looking forward to either getting better, you're doing exercises, you're tired of doing the same thing over and over, but you know you need to do it to get back on the floor. So, that injury year was very, very tough. But I mean, to be honest, watching y'all play, you know, that keep my spirit high, you know, seeing how, you know, we had a winning culture, and also like looking forward to the, you know, me being able to play. I remember like it was yesterday, it was my first day on the court, and like I was doing ladder drills with Ryan, and I just felt it was like a little kid, you know, at it again, you know, like, wow, I'm out here again, you know, and then, you know, taking time to slowly trust your knees, to trust your leg again, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, that takes time. So it's just a long process, but man, like I said, I wouldn't wish that against my worst enemy, but I mean, obviously it's going to make you stronger. It's going to make you more mentally tough, and, you know, you just got to continue to push through it.
And like I said, bro, like you one of the strongest mentally, dude. Like mentally, your mental is super strong. Just how I see you like deal with all this stuff. Because there was a few times in your career that you got injured and you never wavered, or you never be like what's wrong with AO? Like I never saw that. You know what I'm saying? Like you was always the same type of dude, and you know he's always focused. You always got your stuff done in the classroom. But then that next season you come back, like you said, you worked on your body, you got stronger. Now you're averaging 13-8, a steal and a block. You're averaging, or you shooting what, 63% from the field. You know, what were some of those things in the off season that you did to get your body ready to go and you know, ready to play for that season?
So the funniest thing, so it's something called Dog Talk. It's like a Georgetown podcast. So all, you know, Austin Freeman and Chris Wright, they run it, right? So I was
Okay.
on, so they had me and Dante on there like a few months ago, right? And they were telling the story, like, you know, my first year out there, I was out there with 4 All-Americans. Like it was, you know, it was Paul, Dante, Johnny, and you. Like it just, I'm the only All-American that's not I mean, the only guy that's not All-American that's starting.
Yeah.
Like, but the way we played, you would never know who was who because we was all like, you know, doing our thing at the time. You know what I'm saying? So like, like when you think about that, that's like, it's a story by itself just to know that, yo, I'm out here with 4 All-Americans starting and we playing well together, and nobody will be able to tell like, okay, it's a guy that's on the floor that's not an All-American. Nobody will be able to tell that. You know what I'm saying?
No, at all, bro. Like you fit it. Like that team was so fun that year too because that was a 6 OT year.
Mm-hmm.
But I remembered a game versus DePaul, and you got the board, and then you know I'm right here with the outlet, but then you was like this, and then
Oh,
took
that
that
full
thing,
court.
took that thing all the way full court, and was like, huh, and hung on that thing. But like they don't got that like that anymore, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Those big guys, like that's what I mean. Like you were agile, you were quick on your toes, and but bro, like I remember when I saw that, you know, coming back from that knee injury, I'm like, man, like it made me feel good, bro, as your roommate. Like you want to see, if you're a real dude, you want to see a man do good. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, when I saw that play that season from you, like that was special, bro. That made me, and I can say that now because back then I was probably I was too proud to say it, right? But now I can say it. But let's talk about that 6 OT game though, that season. Like, what do you remember before, during, and after? Because I know I got a lot of stories about it, but you know, give me your perspective on everything.
To be honest, I don't remember too much. All I remember is every time I looked up, the score was tied. Like that's all I remember. And you know, I fouled out early. I think I fouled out in the second OT. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I remember Chris Joseph coming over to me because he was about to play center. He's like, bro, what to do? I'm like, bro.
What to do?
I said, bro, it's too much to tell you in 2 seconds. Just go out there. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those, like, you know, just you're gonna have to learn on the fly. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he was playing center, like, you know, and he didn't really play much. So, like, you take him to a position that's not even his position and you tell him go out there and win a big-time game like us. You know what I'm saying? Like a big-time game. But I don't know, man. It was just – it seemed like it was never going to end. That was the whole thing. And I was, like I said, I think it was second overtime I fouled out. I was just over there like, man, what's going to happen? Like, it was just – every play it was like, you know, you could feel the whole arena, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they like, wow. Like, I know it was people that went to sleep and woke up and thought it was highlights and the game was still going on. Like, that's all they kept saying. It was like, wow, this is like, I thought it was Sports Center rerun. And the next thing you know, it was a ESPN classic, instant classic. They was playing it back to back. I'm like, crazy.
Bro, what was it like going against the beat, man? Because look, man, I still feel some type of way about the beat, bro. Because look how this how he did me one time at UConn. I remember it was on the free throw line. The beat about 7'6", man.
Yeah.
So he like this, you know what I'm saying, in the middle like this, you know what I mean? I'm right here, this elbow right on my chin. I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, hey, bro, just be easy. Like, you ain't got to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to do that. So I remember my man shoot the free throw. Man, my man go boom, and I'm talking about right in my whole face, bro. With his arm about 7 foot tall, his damn self. You know what I'm saying? But what was it like battling against him? Because I always felt some type of way about my man, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he was talking, he couldn't really speak like the best, but when he did, he was really slick, and I ain't like that. You know what I mean?
He's probably my toughest matchup. I mean, because just, you know, 7'6", you know, like. And this is back when, you know, they sending everything to him. You know, it's not like he jumping out on screens or he gonna be at the rim the whole time. You know what I'm saying? So it was very tough to play against UConn, especially with him, sitting at the rim pretty much the whole game. What's funny is, so when I went to the D League my first year, he was on the Houston Rockets. So then we
Rio
got
Grande.
Yeah, so now we got close, and then over the last like 2 years, he's been living in DC, so we train together on a regular basis as well. So, I mean, we talk about it all the time, but man, that UConn Syracuse rivalry, that Boeheim Calhoun, it was nothing like it, man.
It was all, but like the 6OT, it was all set up, bro. Like you got to think, Madison Square Garden, Big East tournament, UConn Syracuse, ESPN. Like you said, Boeheim Calhoun, we had our little rivalries within, like AJ Price, you and to beat Johnny, and you know what I'm saying? So it was, everything was already set up to have like that type of, but we didn't know it was gonna be like that, bro. Now look, I know you remember after the game, me and you going to get something to eat at the diner.
Yeah.
So that's like you said, that's the only thing I remember, and I tell this story, I might be wrong, bro, for real. It probably had to be about 3:30, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. But I do remember going in there, be like probably like 6 people, and I remember like 2 or 3 of them going like this, just clapping, just clapping, because obviously we, they recognize us, a big dude coming in, and then you know what I'm saying. So that's something I do vaguely remember, and then I remember going back to the telly, and like it was an instant classic right away, right away being on there, bro. So that was special to be a part of that game, no question. So fast forward to your senior year. You guys #1 in the country. I mean, this team was dominant, bro. Like damn, E, why you ain't stay, E? Like shit, I should, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but you guys ended up being, I think, #1 in the country for almost, I don't know, 2 months straight or something like that towards the end of the year. What was it like that? Hey?
I don't remember how long we were, but I know we were definitely #1, #1 seed in the tournament for sure.
Yeah.
Just crazy combination. I mean, with Wes coming in, who knew Wes Johnson was that good? I never even heard of him before he came to Syracuse. Who knew he was that good? And he just gave us another spark. And then we had Scoop and Chris coming off the bench, and they didn't put their time in, so they really starters, but they coming off the bench. So that first 7, 8 guys, it was tough for whoever was on the other end. I'm telling you.
Bro, y'all lost 2 games or 1 game that year.
One or two.
It was like 34. I don't know, bro. I don't know, but I know that whole year y'all won the Big East because y'all I think y'all was like 1 game. Y'all lost 1 game in the Big East.
That was the year we lost to Lemoyne in the exhibition.
And it's crazy. I had Wes on, and he was saying the same thing. We talked about that year, and he was like, I had 34 against Lemoyne. He was like, that's when I was really like, all right, I'm ready to go, even though y'all lost. You know what I'm saying? So that I remember everyone be like, man, we need to play man. Y'all need to play man. And then we came out, that zone was crazy. I remember watching that. And I remember, because I came back, you remember when I came back and stayed with y'all, and y'all was playing North Carolina in the y'all went to play North Carolina in the Garden.
In the Garden, yeah.
In the Garden. And then I stayed with y'all in y'all apartment, but you was gone. Y'all was gone, because I remember when y'all came back, I'm like, man, y'all killed North Carolina. Like, y'all, this gonna be,
that was a big game.
And this team gonna be real. You know what I mean? But now, so we playing good the whole year. Then we get to the Big East tournament, and you get hurt again against Georgetown, bro. And then obviously we go into the tournament and then end up losing against Butler. But bro, if you didn't get hurt, we win. Like, we win the national championship, bro. And I know it's hard to say because we can say this and that, but I mean, what are your thoughts on that, bro? Like, you win the national championship if you're not hurt, no question, right?
No, 100%. I mean, we was clearly the best team in the country. But so crazy, my knee was hurting all year. Like, I had to take medicine to play the whole year. But it was just the stage. I was a senior. I was trying to get drafted. I'm with the best team in the country. If I was a sophomore, I might have, sat out. You know what I'm saying? Or like, but I couldn't. Like, it was just, I was playing well. The team was playing well. My knee was killing me though. My knee was killing me the whole year. And the way I was playing, who would know? You know what I'm saying? But like, I had to take medicine and play every game. So like, the shock of when it happened was still the shock, but I wasn't as surprised as most were when it happened, because I was like, my knee was killing me the whole year. You know what I'm saying? So like, just the fact that I was able to play that long and be that dominant, and you know, I'm a big, so I'm dunking, I'm block, everything is explosive. You know what I'm saying? And that happened on Georgetown play, trying to go up the block a shot, doing something explosive again. You know, so. But if I don't get hurt, for sure, championship, I think Boeheim would have been retired by now, because I feel like he wanted one more. You know, I feel like he needed another chip. For real, I think he would have been. I think he would have been done by now, had I not got hurt and had we won it. But I mean, you know, I hear this every time I go up. Man, if you don't get hurt, man, if you don't get hurt. But I mean, personally, I know, I feel him. I mean, I'm tired of hearing it, but I feel him, because I know if I didn't get hurt, for sure we win it. I mean, something crazy had to happen for us not to win it. Like, them boys lost in the Sweet 16 without me, you know, with Deshaunte Riley in the middle, and he never played, you know? Yeah. So imagine with somebody like me in the middle, like, for sure we win.
And you got to think about it too, bro. Like, I talked about this to Wes when I had him on. It wasn't even just about like if you were gonna get 20 and 10 or something. It was just about your presence, like in the middle. Like, you see, like if you see a 6'9", 260, he right there waiting for you. Like, you're gonna change your mind a couple of times. You know what I mean? You're gonna kick it out. You're gonna turn whatever you got to do. But like, just being there in the game, bro, your presence changed the whole game. And I think, from what Wes was telling me, when you guys went down, the whole team morale kind of went down a little bit too. Like, they were like, damn, like, that's the anchor. Like, who's the anchor in the zone, eh? Like,
yeah, the big, for sure.
The big, like, you was doing all the talking. You was letting everybody know what's going on. And then, like, you was a leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, you a senior. You a leader. Like, guys look up to you. You know, you had a lot of experience. So that was, no question, we win it, bro.
No question. No question.
You know what I'm saying? No question. So tell me about, you know, playing for Coach Boeheim. You know, just what was it like playing for Coach Boeheim? And then we had some funny stories together with Coach B. Give me the ones that really sticks out in your mind,
though. I think the thing that people don't know most about Boeheim, I mean, they might know, but Boeheim is, he's 100% about winning. Like, that's what he plays for. That's what he lives for. Like, you know how, like, most coaches want guys to wear the same pairs of shoes and care about your hair, and he cared about none of that. You know, we was always the team with everybody had a different pair of shoes on. You know what I'm saying? He didn't care. Hairstyles all over the place. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I got the mohawk, coach came up to me like, hey, yo, what's that called? I'm like, coach, it's the mohawk. He's like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't care about that. He cared about winning.
You ready to play?
Huh?
You ready to play?
Yeah, that's all he cared about. So, obviously, I don't know if you paid attention to how coach treated me, but mine was, I was a guy that went too early in the game. You know, most of the games we're going to get a ball to AO early in the game, right? So I'm supposed to, like, you know, set the tempo. So on the games where I didn't, like, score early, or he didn't feel like I was giving what I was supposed to give, he usually pulled me. The timeout is every 4 minutes. So right after that 4 minutes, I probably come out the game. And if I'm not playing well early, and he get to, cursing me out, telling me da-da-da-da. But, as you're a junior, senior, you know how it is. You know you're going back. You already know. This is just let him say what he got to say, let it get off his chest. So the one thing about it is, if the score gets anywhere looking like it's hey, yo, go, hurry up. Like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? He could curse you out 30 seconds later. Hurry up. Like, get in there. Like, he knows his guys. He knows who's going to do what. He just, he has a way of dealing with each and every person just a little bit different. He knows the guys he can yell at. He knows the guys he just got to be real calm with. He knows the guys that's not going to take no flack. He knows all the above. That's the best thing about coach. Like, coach just knows how to deal with different players in different ways.
Man, 100%, bro. And if you see nowadays, like, coach get on them, like, he don't know how to deal with these kids sometimes, because I can see it, because, like, he not used to a dude, like, shelling up and, like, almost like moping type shit. You know what I mean? Like he yelling at you, and then you, like, take it personal type shit. So, like, he yelled at us. Like, for me, he yelled at me. I'm like, man, fuck you, coach. In my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my head, I'm like, I'm about to go over and shoot this thing real quick and just get you a bucket. Like, because I know that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? For sure, bro. That so
But
like that.
it's so crazy because they used to say that when we was there. We was like, all the Bernie and all of them that was there with him for the how many 20, 30 years. They be like, man, coach getting soft. Coach getting soft. Like coach used to be, raising hell in here. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine how it is now. I know he didn't calm down all the way, but I know he used to be when he was younger. I already know he used to be all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, the kids different now too, man.
Yeah.
It's ultra sensitive out here.
Yeah.
I mean, so they you yell at them, they taking it a whole different way.
Mm.
What was your favorite team to play against in the Big East and why?
Georgetown for sure.
Okay.
I mean, just cause it was home, and I was winning the battle most of the time. Like first it was Roy Hibbert. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember so in DC in the summertime, it's a league called the Kenner League. You play.
Yeah.
It's at Georgetown.
Tough.
So every summer I'm going in there. People used to be like, "Hey man, what's up with you and Roy? Like y'all beefing? Like y'all don't like each other?" And I used to be laughing because I'm scoring on him, I'm yelling. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like something personal, but it really got nothing to do with Roy. It got the whole thing to do with I gotta go home in the summer, so I already know what the talk is gonna be. So that's all it was. Like playing against Georgetown was like, man, it was like I got to play well. Like I know I'm gonna have 100 texts after this game, either way it go. So I got to play well. And what's so crazy? Another good thing about Coach knew that.
Yes.
So in them games, I'm getting the ball first 6, 7 times. We going there, you know what I'm saying? Because he just know like what type of energy I'm coming with for that game. You know what I'm saying? So like it was just great to play them, and then like going home, having tickets for however many people, and knowing that they be able to see my family.
Hey JT, I need 4. JT,
Huh?
I need 4. I need 4, dog. JT.
Yeah. Who got 4 extra? I need yours. I need yours. Yeah, you already know. Yeah, so like my parents never saw me play. Like my first time my parents came to Syracuse was senior night. So in 4 years they never saw me play. When I was in high school, they barely saw me play because both my parents was working. So they can hear, they can read the paper, they can hear, but they never got to physically see me play. So the only time they got to really see me play in person was when we went to Georgetown. So that was big for me. Like that was like, what I'm saying, having my mom, my father there, and my family just to watch me play. I just knew I had to play well. So I would definitely say playing against Georgetown was probably the funnest game.
So and you were real big when Coach telling the guards throw it down.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, bro. Like Cuse is like this. It's a guard. You know what I mean? They get up and down, but if you are real big, give it to them. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I remember, man. I'm dropping it in and letting you do your thing because you would make a move or you pass it out. You make the right decision. So you're a real one. And like you said, like Coach trusted you. So like he knew like you going back home. Hey, in his mind, he may not say nothing, but in his mind, he like, I'm gonna draw this thing up real quick for AO. First 2 plays, we gonna get it in. He gonna get a bump and 1. Now he feeling good. Now he playing D for me. He getting rebounds.
Exactly.
If I give him the ball twice, he gonna get 10 rebounds from me right away.
Right. Exactly.
Coach know how to coach, man. That's a fact. He know how to coach.
Yeah.
So let's talk about we'll talk about 2010, 2011. You start your pro career.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it already. You started with Rio Grande, but then you had stints in with the Cavs, T-Wolves, Magic, Pelicans, and then you played overseas as well. Mm-hmm. So you dominated the G League, and then that's kind of what gave you your opportunities, right, to be able to get called up in to the league. Give me a favorite moment in the league, and like something that you remember one of those vets teaching you, like something that you kept with you to this day, like. It could be on the court, off the court, but something that you really learned while you were up there.
Okay, so after that year I got hurt, I had to take like a year off to rehab. Yeah. And my first trip, I went to Lithuania. I was in Lithuania for about 3 months, and it got to Christmas, and that was back when it wasn't no social media like that. Like I had to call my family like on a computer. Like I remember I had to use Gmail to like Gmail phone and call my family. And things like that. I was just homesick. So like I left for Christmas break and I never went back. So like after that, I was like, man, I gotta at least try this NBA thing. Like, I knew I was good enough, but I ain't know if because I got hurt as a senior that the opportunity had to like faded away.
Right.
So I came back, worked out for a little bit, trained. I went to a mini camp with the New Orleans Pelicans, and it was like a two-day camp. And after like Anthony Davis, Austin Rivers, all of them was on the team. Tyreke Evans, all of them. Drew Holiday, I'm playing with all of them. After 2 days of camp, they called my agent. He was like, "Yeah, he got to stay." My agent like, "What you mean?" He's like, "Can't let him go nowhere. He doing his thing." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so that was my first, sign in the league. And I'm like, wow, like, it took 2 days of me playing, you know what I'm saying, playing well. That's when my confidence kind of went to another level. I'm like, wow, I can really stay here. And then, so that year we was losing, like early in the season, we was losing. They had just signed like Tyreke and Drew, and they thought we was going to be winning. So the only guys on the team that wasn't guaranteed was me and Lance Thomas. So they cut both of us, obviously, because they trying to find, if they're going to trade, if they're going to bring somebody in, all the above. So then I go to the D League. Okay, so I get to the D League, and I was like, okay, so I go to so crazy. I was a fifth in the D League. It's like 7 rounds. I was a 5th round draft pick.
I know it's crazy.
I was a 5th round draft pick. So I get to it's Canton, Ohio. That's where the Hall of Fame is. But so we the Canton Charge. That's the Cleveland Cavaliers D League team. So I quickly learned that the D League is like a get it yourself. It's like, remember how like ABCD camp was like get it yourself.
Yes.
It was get it yourself. Like whoever I outlet it to, they probably gonna shoot the ball. Like that's how it was. Because it's the only league. I tell everybody this is the only league in the world where nobody wants to be there. Everybody's trying to get somewhere. The coaches are trying to get somewhere. The players are trying to get somewhere. The trainers are trying. Everybody's trying to go to the NBA for the most part. So everybody has their own agenda. So as soon as I figured that out, that's when I became a beast in the D League. Like I became a beast. Like I was top rebound, averaging probably like 18 and 12. You know what I'm saying? Like a top 10 NBA prospect every year. Like, so I did the D League on and off for 3 years. I was a 3-time All-Star.
Yeah.
I was All-Star every year. I was on and off 10 days, in and out for that whole 3 years, and people were saying like, oh, you should be overseas because you're missing out on money. But I couldn't go overseas without knowing that I gave it like my all, you know what I'm saying, trying to make the NBA, giving it a shot, and I remember like it's very frustrating because I used to call my agent like, like Dallas might pick up a big from the D League, and I'd be like, hold on, my numbers is better than his. Like we played them 2 weeks ago, and I won the battle. But it was so much other stuff that had to go on with it that I had to understand. Like, they might be looking for a certain vet or like a certain guy that, does a certain role, or like, all those different things that go into it. So it was many nights calling my agent, almost in tears, like so frustrated, like, man, because it's like, what more can I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what more can I do? I'm literally dominating night in and night out, night in and night out, So yeah, I go overseas, then I come back to play summer league with the Orlando Magic. This is 16, 17. So I'm one of the older guys in the summer league. It's usually like young guys.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I ain't doing nothing anyway. Let me go out there and hoop. You know what I'm saying? So I go out there. We win the summer league. I get MVP of the summer league. It's so crazy. So when I walked in there, the coach of the summer league team was the coach of the Erie Bayhawks. That's another D League team, right?
Yeah.
And I destroyed them like the year before. So first thing he brought everybody in, like from day one, he's like, listen, Arinze is here. Arinze will dominate the basketball. He's going to get touches. Like, I was like, everybody looked at me like, y'all know, like, I didn't know him. I just knew him as the coach for the Erie Bayhawks. He never coached me. We never talked before, but he said, Arinze is going to dominate the basketball. Like, he's going to get touches.
And what that do, that for your confidence, it went to a whole nother level.
And the whole team had to okay it because they knew, like, if I want to get minutes, he got to get touches. You know what I'm saying? So they was giving me the ball on a regular basis. I was scoring. You know, I'm kicking it out on double teams. Like, it just happened overnight. Like, it was like boom, we was it. We didn't lose. Like, we ran through the summer league, like won the championship and everything. You know, so that's when Orlando signed me. I was on the Orlando summer league team, and they was a team that ended up signing me. So same thing with them. Like, I'm on another losing team. You know, Orlando, we didn't win no games. I never played really because we had bigs, like big money bigs, like Serge Ibaka, big contract, Bismack Biyombo, big contract, Nikola Vucevic, big contract. Like, these is guys that's making $20 million a year. You know what I'm saying? So I just think NBA wise, like, I never got the opportunity to be like, all right, well, I was out there and it didn't happen. You know, I was never really out there. But I feel like I know for a fact that everything I did going into it, from the D League to the Summer League to everything they put in front of me, I destroyed. You know what I'm saying? It just happened to be when, you know, the NBA, if you look at any NBA roster, the 5 starters are the guys that make the most money. That's just how it works. Because if you got a guy like me that's making league minimum, playing ahead of a guy that's making 15 million,
right,
the organization is going to look upside down, you know? So, I mean, the journey was the journey. I can't take nothing away from it. So, you know, of course, I wish things would have went a little bit different, but I can sleep at night knowing that I did what I had to do. I control what I had to control. I did all I could do to, you know, make it a success.
And that's the messed up side of the hoop business. People don't really see that. Like, it's about fit. It's about opportunity. Like you said, like, if I don't get the opportunity to get out of there, how nobody gonna know? Like, I can't. And like you said, like, my man getting $25 million. I don't care if he averaging 4 and 3. You not playing over my man, because we giving him $25 million a year. Like, we gonna get our money's worth. We gonna walk him, like, we gonna burn him out. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, that's the side that people really don't know, though, bro. Like, oh, you ain't make the league, you ain't know who. Like, nah, like, you don't get it. Like, for me, bro, like, I didn't even get a chance to play summer league. Like, that's the messed up thing. Like, I never even played summer league. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see dudes play summer league, you be like, man, he went to Texas Tech A&M Christian.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, and no disrespect to the small schools, because they're starting to make a wave and all that, but it's all about opportunity, knowing people, you getting in there and getting the opportunity. Once you get in that door, like, how many people, you know, nobody really knew them, but they had the opportunity to get in that door and show people, and they did it. Like, you think about guys like, what's my man from Houston? He got on Jonathan Simmons.
Oh yeah, that came through the D League. Yeah. But he, like you said, he got the opportunity once he got up there. That's why, to be honest, that's why I respect Coach Popovich, right? So this is how Coach Pop did it. So if they called you up, right, and let's say Tony Parker was hurt, they call you up from the D League, you're going to play Tony Parker's spot. Like, you're going right into the start role. If he plays, he's not bringing you in to be the end of the bench guy, and he's putting you, whoever got hurt and they called you up for, he's putting you right into that spot. And that's why I respected Coach Pop. You know why? Because he was comfortable enough in his skin, and he knew that his job was secure enough, and he knew that he had the name enough to be able to run it the way he wanted to run it, you know? So I always respected about Coach Popovich. Everybody knew if you got called up to the Spurs, you was going to play right away. Like, your minutes was going to be there.
And a lot of dudes coaching, but they not coaching. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they just kind of, that's their title, but it's coming from above. Like,
of course,
you know what I mean?
Especially in the NBA. Especially in the NBA.
Like, you just that title you got, but Pat Riley coaching. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, those guys. Like,
those guys that's established and they dominant and they dominant personalities. Like, they know, like, this is my show. I'm gonna run it how I want to run it. It's nobody gonna tell me how to run this, and I'm proven I know how to win. Y'all have seen my track record. I do this, like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, they are comfortable in their skin, no matter if it's a winning season or losing season. Don't forget who I am. Don't forget what I've done.
A lot of pride come into it, and a lot of ego, which can be not so good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about like overseas a little bit. What was the craziest moment overseas where you be like, God damn, what am I doing here, dog? Like, what is going on? And what's your favorite place that you played?
I start off by saying my two favorite places is probably Israel. Israel is it's like
Oh,
Miami, like a South Beach, like
off the chain.
beaches everywhere, like good food. Most of the people speak English. Also the Philippines. Philippines is nice. It's like a New York City kind of Manhattan, very crowded city. But like you said, good food. Most people speak English, and basketball is big. One of the hardest places to play is China for sure. I played two times. I've been to China two times, and like, if you're not like in Beijing or Shanghai, for the most part, nobody speaks English. So that's the toughest part. They give you a translator, and he has to go everywhere with you. You know what I'm saying? You got to tell him if you want a T-shirt, you got to tell him for him to tell them. You know, you playing a game, and your coach is yelling, but he yelling in Chinese, and the translator's yelling at you in English to take. Like, it's just it's it's tough. It's tough. So overseas, I tell everybody, it just depends on where you are. You know, it can be a great experience. It can be an awful experience. I mean, I know you've heard so many horror stories about overseas. I done heard so many of them. Guys not getting paid. Guys, you know, supposed to happen and don't happen like this. It's just a lot to it. Like, that's another thing people don't understand. Like, because you're a pro overseas, that doesn't mean things are smooth. You know, many times I've had to fight for my contract. You know, sit in my room and not show up to practice because they haven't paid me. Like, it's so much to it, because it's not like here where, you know, on the 1st and the 15th your check is coming. It don't work like that. Over there, you can sign all the contracts you want, but when it's time to pay, if they don't want to pay, they're not going to pay. You know, then I've heard stories. You know, you hear stories like, okay, they said the team played bad, so we not paying y'all, or we taking 10% of y'all contract, or like it's a lot to that overseas game. And even to this day, I just talked to one of my friends today, and he was telling me another horror story about how they were supposed to pay him and send him home for a few days because they had a break, and the team hasn't picked up the phone for a week. The GM or the coach, you know what I'm saying? So like, I just feel like people gotta really respect our craft and what we do, and respect like how much we have to put up with. You know, going away, being away from our families, going to these other countries, trying to learn how to speak the language, trying to learn the way of basketball, trying to get paid. Like, it's a full-time job to another level, and people got to understand like that what we do. Like, you got to be mentally strong to be able to do that. And I'm talking about, like, you know, most guys as pros, we're not pros for 1 year. We 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years. You know, and every year it's a new battle. You know, because you might be going to a new program, new country, new organization. It's a new battle each year. So people really got to respect what we do.
Man, like you said, it's already stressful being away from your fam. You know, being in, you know, uncomfortable circumstances, or, you know, out the country. I mean, I remember I was in Greece, bro. I went to Athens, so I was excited to go to Athens. You know, I ended up going for a month because I didn't get 1 cent. My man didn't give me, like, I go there, I signed a contract. You supposed to pay me what you're gonna pay me. I go up to ask my man. Now first off, you speak English. Now when I come to ask you about the bread, you don't know how to speak English.
Speak English, right?
You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like you said, they got to respect the grind, bro, because it's a lot of other stuff that comes into it when you go overseas, bro. It ain't all, you know,
It ain't all basketball. It's a
nah,
lot. It's a lot of the other stuff around the basketball that you got to deal with.
that's a fact. So, bro, I know for me and you, like, we spent a lot of time outside the bubble, so to speak. Like, we weren't just on the university. We was out in the city. We mingled with the people in the city and the community, and we made a lot of good friends, bro.
Mm-hmm.
What does Syracuse community mean to you? What does the university mean to you, and why do you think it's such a special place?
Oh man, it raised us, man. We came in there as babies, and we left as grown men.
Yeah.
I just feel like the biggest thing about Syracuse is the support. You know, like, no matter what you got going on, no matter what you're going through, like, it's always somebody up there to pick you up. It's always up to somebody up there to lend a helping hand. It's just a city that cares, you know, especially about the guys. that play sports, because we represent them. It's nothing. It's not like DC here where you got the Redskins, the Wizards, and Georgetown. Like you got up there, it's just Syracuse. So we represent the city, and that's why we can get 30,000 at the game, because they make sure that, like, when you talk Syracuse, you talking good things. So just the way they embrace us, man. They embrace us and they make sure that everything is okay the whole time we're there. How many times have we been places and, we trying to get our bill to check out for some food and somebody's over there just pointing like, yeah, it's paid for. Like, just the little things like that, just whatever we needed, they was there for us. And that's why I can always love the city.
My man Nut will come by the crib, blow that horn. Yo, God.
Sound like an 18-wheeler truck.
Oh, he had a boat horn on that joint. He come by at 5:30 in the morning, like we trying to pick us up to go play at the Y. So, Yo, Nut had us all through it. Nut, that's my guy. What do you think? What's your favorite? Your craziest Syracuse fan moment? Like when you ran into something. You know what I mean? Give me one of the craziest ones.
Fan moment?
Yeah, it could be on campus. You in the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like we had some of them.
I don't know if I got a moment. I just know that, like, we couldn't go anywhere. Like the moment we left our apartments, we was on camera. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't go anywhere without people knowing who we was. I mean, it wasn't a bad thing, but it was like we was really celebrated in a different way. Like it's not a place we went where people wasn't like yelling our name. You know what I'm saying? Like clapping for us, yelling our name. And like I said, man, that city, like when they don't miss no games. Like they know your stats, they know what your average, they know what you need to work on. They love the team, and they ride for the team. If anybody say anything about Syracuse, they gonna make sure they got it right.
Man, you got to experience walking through Mayfest one time. Walking through Euclid, like you going through that Mayfest, like you hearing your name from everywhere. All them houses, like that's just something you got to experience as a college athlete. Like it come with it. Like it's a lot. Like as a college athlete that you got to take care of. But like that was love, bro. Like whenever we went out, we got to go through those crowds. Like that felt good, man. I mean, we deserve it. Like we worked hard to be able to put ourselves in that position. You know what I mean?
No question. Yeah, we definitely represented them in a way that they. I mean, how many stories have you heard from even when students' parents used to come up, used to be like, man, I live here, but man, we watch the games all the time. People talk about, like, it's like they knew you, but you never met them before, but they know everything about you just from watching you play.
Bro, I remember we was in the bar in Harry's one time, and we was in there, we was kicking it. Like, we go in there and maybe after a big win or something. I remember a girl came up to me one time, and she was like, "Here, take this real quick. It's my dad." You know what I'm saying? It gotta be 1 a.m, dog. 12:30 in the morning. It's my dad. I called him because I saw you, and he's just, he loves you. Like, just say hi to him. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't in Cuse, they in New York City. So I just remember answering the phone, "What's up, Devo? What's going on?" Man, I just want to say it's awesome to talk to you. My daughter's, you know what I'm saying? Like, we in the middle of the bar, man. My man just handed out a couple of drinks, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you get over, like, that's how it was, though. Like, people don't understand, like, that. You look back at that stuff, bro, like, pretty cool, bro, that we got to go through that. You know what I mean?
You can't get that experience everywhere like that. The love up there was a different type of love.
A different type of love. So what was your favorite place to eat in the Cuse?
Thomas Kitchen, probably.
Thomas Kitchen, come on, man.
When I went up there I drove up there for TBT. I drove up there to see, and it's gone, man. I was like, bro. Wow.
Hey, bro, who put us on that? Was it Nut?
Yeah, probably Nut. Yeah.
Yo, hey, we used to go in there. Give me the fried wings, black eyed peas, rice and gravy. I'm with the little man. We'll go in there and sit down. Matter of fact, man, I remember going in there, bro, in the summer. It was just me and you. That's when me, you, and Nut. He put us on, and then from that day on, like, man, we sending everybody there. And then we go up, and like you said, it's gone, man. Thomas, man, shout out to Thomas, man. I wonder where Thomas is now, man.
Yeah.
That was a great restaurant. Who's your all-time favorite Cuse player?
Who? You know what's so crazy is I didn't watch Cuse as much before I got there because, you know, out here it was Maryland and it was North Carolina, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, Maryland.
North Carolina?
Yeah, like that was like, so like, you know how Cowboys is like the America's team, kind of. Out here, most people it was like Maryland or you like North Carolina. So like,
Okay.
like they used to always be seeing like you go anywhere you go, they on TV, you know, because that, you know, that was before. So that was when they had them guys, you know, the Ed Coders, the Raymond Feltons, and then you know Maryland had the Steve Francises and the Chris Wilcox. Like they had
Juan Dixon.
They had guys like it was like every year you knew it was going to be like great teams. So like I didn't watch Cuse as much before I came there. Maybe like within the last 2-3 years before I came there, but I wasn't like I didn't watch Cuse as much. But obviously as I got there, you know, especially with being Bernie was a big man coach. They've been there for 30 years. He get to talking about, you know, the DCs and the John Wallaces and the Ronnie Cycleys. And then you go back and you kind of look at, like, he used to give me tape of these guys and just, you know, see how they dominated, what spots on the floor, because, you know, he's running the same offense. Coach going to keep the same offense, you know, so we running the same thing. So he's just trying to figure out, okay, this is why he was successful. This is why that's why I say I was like a student of the game. I was a sponge, you know, and you have a coach like that that's been there for so long, they can tell you, okay, look, this is how he did it. You know, this is why he was so good. You know, so I mean, shout out to them guys, man. You can't go wrong with saying a John Wallace or a DC or a Ronnie Cycley. You know what I'm saying? You can't go wrong. You know, even to Hakeem Warwick, he lives in DC now, so we work out at the gym all the time. But you know, these guys are, I mean, top tier, you know.
Shout out to all those guys. I had all them guys on the podcast. My guy Hat, J Dub was just on not too long ago. We had DC on as well, man. All those guys, big time legends. You a part of that group though, bro. You a legend for sure.
Yeah.
Talk about your clothing line though a little bit, because you got shirts, hats, hoodies. You see that hat you're wearing right now, and I don't have it on, but I usually wear it 3 days a week. My walking bucket hoodie. And look, I was on the podcast with the Walking Bucket, and I let them know. I said, "This is my man AO right here. So if you need to get you some gear,
Dub just ordered some.
That's
for him.
Man, look,
he said his sons wanted them, so we got him straight. But so the clothing line actually started. So when I came for that TBT, what 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I was like, man, you know, once I signed up, I was getting like messages from the fans, like, man, we can't wait to see you. It's been so long. So I was thinking, like, what can I do for them? So what I did was I made some T-shirts. You know, I made probably about like 40 T-shirts or something up there. Put my logo on it and things like that. And they, you know, they ran and got them real quick. So, you know, after the TBT was over, that was it. Like it was just something for them. Then I started getting messages from people like, man, I didn't go to Syracuse, but you got something else. And one message, 2 messages, 3 messages, 4. Like I was just getting messages and messages and messages. I'm like, hold on. All right, I might have something here. Let me see what I can do. So, you know, I slowly started brainstorming and, you know, putting things on, like, you know, whether it's T-shirts or hoodies and things like that. And then people started gravitating towards it.
When you done playing, you know, when it's kind of like, or when you getting into that transition to where like you trying to set up, like how hard is that, but how important is it to get on that early and kind of establish that, you know, basketball after the fact, and also use that leverage that you had from the hoop to kind of put you into another space. You know what I'm saying? Talk about that a little bit. How was that for you?
It's very, very tough. I mean, we've been doing one thing for our whole life.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows you from shooting the basketball. Like if your name comes up, they're going to say the basketball player. That's the next sentence all the time. So for me, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. You know, I did a sport broadcasting thing at Syracuse. So I'm hoping that I can connect with somebody in Syracuse, that, you know, because we got that field sold up. Like most of the broadcasters went to Syracuse. So
no doubt.
Hopefully I could connect with somebody like that and get started in that area as well. But the biggest thing I would say to most of the young kids is that start earlier, you know, start when your name is hot, start when everybody's kind of pulling on you, tugging on you, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the time where you can start whatever it is you want to do, you know. But I think like we we were so caught up in basketball that we never really looked at anything else. You know, we come from cities from where, you know, it's tough, it's rough. We living in poverty. So what are we looking at? All we looking at is the NBA. Like that's my way out. And then once that somebody tell us we're good at basketball, we're like, okay, this is definitely my way out. But what happens if we never think about the what if? What if I don't make it? What if I get hurt? What if some, you know what I'm saying? We don't think about the what if. We're like, oh, we're going to the NBA. That's what we're doing. So I even see a lot of kids now, like, you know, they're starting to be diverse. You know, they play ball, but they also got this, you know what I'm saying? And that's the biggest thing. Like, I think the awareness now is changing to be like, okay, well, you can play basketball, but you also can do this. Yes. You know, back when we were playing, it wasn't no, you can do this. It was you in the gym. That's where you're supposed to be, just living there. You know what I'm saying? Where now it's like, okay, you can play basketball, you can have a clothing line too, or you can play basketball and start working on your broadcasting. You know, you can have different things going for yourself. So I would think the biggest thing is just to start early, start when your name is hot, start when your name is buzzing. And I feel like the connections you make then are going to be great for you later down the line.
No question. And you hit it on the head, bro. Like, I think now, like, these guys have or are introduced earlier to like, hey, like you can make money off of this basketball, like your brand, like this your brand, like t-shirts and all that. Like we wouldn't think about that. Like we was straight hoop, you know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it was. But like that's how we grew up. Like and I think it's a good and bad, like, cause now you see the kids, it's like more distractions, right? It's like they main focus ain't all the way here, like with ball. Like for me, growing up, like that's all I wanted to do. Ball, I love ball. Like this is what I love. You know what I'm saying? So like when you see me on the floor, you could tell. Like sometimes you see these kids like, he might like it, he good, he talented, but do we really love it? You feel what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to the 10-hour drive we took back to the SAG real quick. Woo. We took it because hey, that was a trip, bro. That's when and we got to shout out to SAG because that's when. Hey, you first found out what my man was doing with what was that song, man, that had came out and we was in the club and it was
the music, the step. What's the step you was doing?
Yeah, hey, look, that was the experience, huh? Like we was really in there for a second. Hey man, that was shout out to that because that was a long drive. Dex, who else? Me, you, Fred. Yeah, man, that was crazy, bro. Hey, last question though. What are your thoughts on this year's Cuse team?
I only seen a little bit of them. I seen a few. You know what's so crazy is now that I'm a pro or that I've been a pro, I don't even watch college basketball like that. Like I can watch Syracuse, but like when I was in college, all I watched was college. But I think as soon as I became a pro, all I started watching was NBA basketball.
Right.
So for the most part, I only watched Syracuse play. But I mean, I think the team is going to be. I mean, they got a good team. I mean, Elijah leaving was a huge piece. You know that he dominated. Like he really took over. But the team looks confident. They look fine. But the problem is right now with this COVID thing, like there's so many games they missing. They're not practicing, so they ain't gonna be able to be at the level they supposed to be at because coach don't have them on a regular basis. You know,
right.
They kind of like just winging it for the most part, and that's tough to do when your talent level isn't as amazing, you know, but they got a lot of good pieces over there though, for sure. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of good pieces with them. I almost feel like they need to practice. You know what I'm saying? They need to practice to make sure that that it's a well-oiled machine, like it's running smoothly, you know? So, but so far so good. I mean, they just won, what was it yesterday? Beat NC State yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So they hanging in there. They just, like I said, I feel like they need some fine tuning to be able to be that team that they want to be, you know?
Yeah, and like it's tough, man. Like we creatures of habit, so we used to getting up every day, going to practice, having our routine, and you know they've been thrown off a little bit. So I say it all the time, like because I do the pregame, I just say the biggest thing you gotta do is you just gotta have the energy the whole time, energy and effort, because you're gonna miss shots and be rusty. Like who gonna play the hardest? Like that's really who gonna give themselves a chance to win. You feel me?
Yeah, and it's hard for them to even be energized because they're not even in shape they want to be in because they're not able to be in the gym as much as they want to be in, you know? So, like, you got to respect them for what they're doing, but it's so tough on them. I can only imagine, like, you know what I'm saying? I can only imagine not being able to get in the gym on a regular basis. Like, you know, you telling me today I'm good to play, tomorrow, oh, now take a 2-week quarantine, don't come. You know, it's a lot for them to deal with. But you got to shout out them guys for showing up and still, you know, playing the way they've been playing and giving it all their all. You know what I'm saying? Because you can see it's a lot of talent on that floor. Like, it's a lot of talent on that floor. Like, you can see that coaching them been trying to get that top tier talent that we had. You know what I'm saying? You can see they've been picking and choosing, trying to get those guys, but I feel like they just need a little bit more practice time to kind of fine tune things.
Yeah, it's definitely different. They got some work to do. Hopefully they can continue to string together some wins. So, Ayo, man, I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, let me tell them just the clothing line. So if they don't
know,
know,
ahead, do your thing.
The website is aostudio21.com. And it's a website of I got hoodies, I got sweatshirts, I got sweatpants, I got babies clothing, I got some youth things, and I got a whole like a Cuse fan section. They got their own section, so everything in there is Cuse. I got like some shirts like Midnight Madness type of things, 6 overtime game type shirts, just a bunch of different things for the fans. But yeah, they can check it out.
Yeah, so make sure everybody go check that out. AO Studio 21, right?
Yep.
AOstudio21.com. Go get your gear. I was the first one that had the first shirt. I had the first shirt in the TBT. I had put it on. They told me put on the Warhorse. I said, nah, I'm putting on AO Studio 21. What you mean?
Yeah. No question. No question. You know how we do it. No question.
Come on, bro. My dog, my roommate. You already know, bro. So I appreciate you coming on, bro. You already know it's all love, man.